to exactly know
Yes,
from me.
yes. नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है हमारे चैनल थिंक टैंक इंडिया पर। हम हर रोज पॉलिटिकल या करंट अफेयर्स पर डिस्कस करते हैं। आज जिस सब्जेक्ट पर हम डिस्कस करेंगे वो भी करंट अफेयर्स का एक पार्ट जरूर है। हमारे देश का एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या भी बोल सकते हैं, एक बड़े धरोहर भी आप उसको बोल सकते हैं। हमारे साउथ ईस्ट पार्ट में एक पेनिनसुला है, अंडमान पेनिनसुला, जो हमारे मेनलैंड से करीब 2000 माइल दूर है, चाहे चेन्नई से हो या कलकत्ता से हो, लेकिन वो हमारे देश के एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है। और उधर कुछ ट्राइब्स रहते हैं जो हमारा धरोहर है, हमारे कल्चर का एक पार्ट है, जिसे जैसे जारवा, ग्रेट अंडमानीज, ओंगी, शॉम्पेन, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। आज उन सब ट्राइब्स को लेकर जो डिस्कशन होंगे, हमारे साथ एज अ गेस्ट हमारे शो में ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं मिस्टर डेनिस जाइल्स सर। ही इज द एडिटर ऑफ द अंडमान क्रॉनिकल न्यूज़पेपर. It is one of the popular newspaper and a well circulated newspaper in Andaman and Nicobar. Welcome sir to our show.
Yeah, thanks, Bashuda, for inviting me as a guest. Yes, as
So
you know, the
sir,
topic. Yeah, please tell
yes.
me.
So sir, we know about the tribes of Andaman. Please tell me the history of these tribes.
Okay, let me just give you a brief for the audience to understand about the tribal situation in the islands. Uh, there are 6 aboriginal tribes in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Out of that, 4 are from Andaman and 2 tribes are from the Nicobars. The difference between the Andaman tribe and the Nicobar tribe is that is the feature. The Andaman tribes are basically, Negrito in nature, you know, and the Nicobar tribes are Mongoloids. The 4 tribes as of now in Andaman are: number one is the Jarva, number two is the Great Andamanis, number three is the Ongis, number four is the Sentinelese. So these are the 4 tribes in Andaman, at present. And in the Nicobar, we have 2 tribes, that is the Nicobaris. In general, we call them as Nicobaris, and the Shompens. The Shompens are located, they live in the Great Nicobar, which is the last point of India. They are confined to the jungle and they have minimal interaction with the outside world. They prefer to stay in the jungle. Whereas when we come to the Nicobar tribes, they are 100% literate. They are doing well. They have mixed with the society, mixed with the mainstream society. And there are engineers, doctors, even lawyers, teachers, so many things, so many, educated people from the Nicobars. At the same time, when we come towards the north, that is Andaman, the one tribe which always comes into, a conflict with the outside world is the Jarva tribe. So we have been campaigning since, almost 2 decades. I've been campaigning. I've been trying to tell the world, see, they are nothing special. You don't have to, they are not museum pieces. You know, they are humans. They are humans just like you and me. Just the difference between them and us is that their race has been isolated in Andaman Islands, since thousands of years. Apart from that, they are just humans like you and me. They speak like you and me. They eat like you and me. They sleep like you and me. There is no difference at all. So, since they have been isolated in these islands for thousands of years, the problem is the kind of they have never been exposed to the kind of diseases which lie in the outside world. We have so many diseases, right from malaria to so many, and right now we have already experienced the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. So these are the diseases and viruses which lie in the outside world, and it is also a cause of the reason for all these pandemic and all. It's the development. We are aiming for development. It is all basically a man-made disaster. So we should keep in mind that the Jarva tribe hasn't been exposed to any such diseases, viruses, which lies in the outside world. So it becomes our moral responsibility, our duty, to respect that particular factor and try not to mingle with them unless and until you are an expert, you are a physician, you are an anthropologist, or you are technically, about anthropology, or else, like, if you would really be able to help them in some good manner. Unless and until you are able to do that, I always have been calling upon people not to interact with them, not to expose them to any kind of danger. So this is regarding the Jarwa tribe. But let me also tell you, there is another tribe called the Great Andamanis. You know, by the name itself, Great Andamanis, it cannot be a name of any tribe. This is a term which has been given to 10 different tribes who were present in in Andaman Islands when the British tried to enter. So they were estimated to be around 8,000 then, 10 different tribes, numbering around 8,000. And they were the first to come in conflict with the British when the British tried to enter. So they fought with the British, but unfortunately, their bows and arrows, the traditional bows and arrows, were never a match to the guns and modern ammunition of the British. So a lot of people were massacred. British entered the islands, made them as slaves, and you know these people had come from outside. They started spreading diseases like syphilis, gonorrhea, and so many things, which ultimately wiped out the entire population. You know, you should try to understand it wiped out 10 different tribes, 10 different
My
language,
God.
10 different tradition from the world unknowingly. It was a big mistake. So right now, among the great Andamanis, we have around 50 odd people remaining. So can you imagine in the 18th century, 19th century, the people who numbered around 8,000 are mere 50 odd. And among the remaining 50 odd people are also mixed race. So they have mixed with, the mainstream people. They are having children. So that is the way they are surviving. And most of, the surviving members of the Great Andamanis community do not really know their history. Uh, I don't mean to hurt the present members. I do respect them a lot, but unfortunately, their own children are not much aware of their history. And since the Indian government at a later stage had shifted the remaining Great Andamanis to an island called Strait Island, where the ecology was totally different from the original, place where they have been residing. So we should also try to understand. See, we have a lot of, tradition, culture, festivals. You know, why are these festivals? How do we, do we ever think why these festivals and how these festivals, took shape? For example, harvest festival or Diwali or so many things. See, it depends on the place where we live. It depends on the community in which we dwell. It depends on the environment and the ecology of the place, which, you know, makes us coin something called a harvest festival, for example, and then we celebrate. So once you are, for example, if you are in West Bengal, you have a harvest festival. And if you, I just take you, pick you up, and take you to America somewhere and leave you in some other place, you may remember that back in West Bengal you used to celebrate that festival. But once you are displaced from your locality to some other place, which is totally different in nature, you won't be able to even celebrate because there is no food grain like that. There is no harvest, there is no community feeling. And gradually, what happens is you start losing your own identity. And that is the biggest, punishment anyone can get. आप अपना वजूद अगर खो दोगे तो जीने का कोई मायना नहीं रखता. The identity. So the Great Andamanis were displaced from the original location and shifted to Strait Island, where the environment ecology was totally different, and gradually they started forgetting their own tradition, their culture, their language. So this has already happened to the Great Andamanis. And let us come to the third tribe, which is the Onggi tribe. So the Onggi at present are confined to an island called Little Andaman Island. So the Onggi are actually considered to be a part of the Jarva tribe, who migrated from the present Jarva area towards Little Andaman, and they were known to be seafarers. So among when because they used to have their own boats, which the Great Andamanis had, and it is the only the Ongis. These are the two communities which knew how to construct a boat and how to travel a bit far of distance. So the Ongis are said to have been, migrated from the present location of the Jarvas towards the Little Andaman, and they have been there. So another thing, the similarity, which the anthropologists also say, there are a lot of similarity in their language, in the kind of festivals they celebrate, and also the most important thing is the name of the tribe. It's Ongge, Onge, Ongge. So when we come back to the Jarva tribe, please try to understand the Jarva tribe. The name of the Jarva tribe is not Jarva. The name is Ang. It's Ang. or Ong. So here you can, find a similarity called the Ong and the Onge. And interestingly, the term Jarva means an outsider. This term Jarva is a great Andaman, is one of, the 10 different tribes call an outsider or people who did not belong to their community as Jarva. So when the British, you know, had gone for expeditions inside the jungle using the slaves which they had captured among the great Andamanis. So similar looking people called the Angs, they were noticed. The language was different, they were similar looking, but everything was different. So the great Andamanis had explained the British that they are Jarwa, they are not our people, they are different people. Unfortunately, the British, without realizing, just named them as Jarwa or an outsider. You know, this is such a big disrespect. Bashuda, if even after I know that your name is Dr. Bashuda,
Yes.
I prefer to call you with my own name without even bothering what you will be thinking. Is it not a great big insult to you?
Yes, definitely.
So we have been insulting the Jarva tribe or the Ongs since ages, and no one ever tried to even rectify this mistake which had been committed. And now let us come back to the topic. It's been a bit long. And the fourth tribe are the Sentinelese. Yes, in 2018, a lot of people might have known about this episode of John Allen Chow, an
Yes,
American
yes, yes.
who
I am
tried to.
coming to that episode. I am coming to that episode.
Yes, so this John Allen
I
Chow,
want to know this elaborately.
yes, so he tried to venture into the territory of the Sentinelese, and it is learned that he has been killed. So the evidence establish that he has been killed is are accused of taking no evidence in spite of a lot of struggles by the administration. There is no evidence that Chow is dead. So these are the future of Andaman. When it comes to the fourth tribes, it to protect our precious tribes. There have
I hope Mr. Giles will join us again.
can
Sir,
you hear me?
can you hear me? Are you
We have to
audible to
think.
me?
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah. Now I can hear you.
Yes, tell me.
So we have to learn from our past mistake. We have to learn from our past mistake. Just a second. I'll just. We have to learn from our own past mistake because we have already lost 10 important tribes Their tradition, their language, their culture, we have lost them without even, you know, being able to understand them, study them, respect them. Before that, we have already lost. Yes, today a lot of people, in the name of tourists, try to visit, Baratang Island, and in between they wish to see the Jarva tribe. That is the prime idea, that is the main intention they have while traveling to Baratang. A Stone Age tribe. How are they? They don't wear clothes. All these so many things they have in mind, and they just want to have a look. No, please try to understand. They are not museum pieces, and you are not going in a jungle safari. Basically, I can, instead of jungle safari, I can state that if you are traveling on this Andaman trunk road with the intention to see the Jarwa, it is nothing less than a human safari. Spot somebody in the jungle, just look at them, try to click photos, forgetting that you and them, or we and them, they are no different. They are just humans like you and me. They have family, they have their own children, they have their own tradition, they have their own culture. They don't interact with us. Why should we try to poke our nose if we are not able to do something good? So the future of Andaman tribes will depend on our decision. Number one, we have to respect them as humans, as fellow humans. We have to try our best to understand, to study them closely, to even, unearth the wealth they possess, the wealth of knowledge they possess. Because surviving in an island territory for, 6,000, 7,000 years without wearing clothes in extreme, forest condition, how could they survive? यहाँ पर हमें जरा से बारिश में भीगने से हमें जुकाम हो जाता है. How could these people survive? What are the kinds of medicines? What are the kinds of practices they have been doing? We have settled in these islands and we carry a card called Islander card. But I ask my fellow islanders, how much Islander are you? Just by carrying an Islander card doesn't mean you know everything about the islands. When was the last time we, trekked in a jungle? When was the last time we went for a sea swim? When was the last time, we went in a small dinghy to fish? No, we don't have time. Our children don't have time. We are just confined to schools, the city, Port Blair city, the latest gadgets, the mobile, the internet, and we call ourselves as islanders. It's a pity. But those who, really wish that those who agree with me that we need to protect and respect the aboriginal tribes of Andaman Nicobar Islands. No, it should be a collective decision from our side. We'll put in an effort. We will tell our fellow human beings who come as tourists, please don't travel on this Andaman trunk road and disturb them. Please mind your own business. They are just humans. अगर ये सोच अगर लेके हम चले तो yes, definitely it will be a great help. And there is also, a debate on isolation and mainstreaming. एक डिबेट हमेशा चलता है. कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि no, being fellow
इस
human.
बारे में मैं आपको एक क्वेश्चन पूछ रही हूँ.
Yeah.
In 2017, I was in Andaman for just for a visit. When I was going through the Andaman trunk road, जब मैं उसके तरफ से डिगलीपुर बाराटन डिगलीपुर मायाबंदर की तरफ जा रहे थे, I
Yes.
saw some children.
Yes.
Our driver told us they are from the Jarva tribe. I saw them, they are 8 to 10 children they were. All were wearing blue and white dresses. वो मुझे बोला कि वो स्कूल से आ रहे हैं. सचमुच क्या जारवा के लिए कोई स्कूल खोले हैं जारवा बच्चों के लिए, या वो पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं वहां पर?
See, it is वहां पर जारवा के लिए स्कूल खुला है बोलने से it is not a formal school that has been opened. It is a project called Ankatha by the Directorate of Tribal Welfare. It is an attempt by the anthropologists and the Tribal Welfare Department to help them, know how to read and write. It is an informal school and इसमें जो है हिंदी का अल्फाबेट्स यूज करे हैं and they are not teaching them, what lies in the outside world. The project is well designed and जिसमें बच्चों को और बड़ों को सबको सिखाया जाता है कि उनका खुद का अपना ट्रेडिशन क्या है, उनके जंगल में क्या किस्म के फूल है, फल है, किस किस्म का जानवर है. बहुत सारा जानवर एक्सटिंक्ट हो गया है, बहुत सारा फ्लोरा एंड फौना अभी मिल नहीं रहा है जो पहले मिलते थे. सो ये सारा चीज के बारे में दे ट्राई टू लर्न. And of course, they have been given uniforms. So it's a very informal school, but yes, it was uh, learned to be successful in the beginning. लेकिन अभी वो चल नहीं रहा है because of COVID-19 pandemic. It had to be stopped. So it is nothing called school. जो दिमाग में जो आता है when it comes to school, a building, a teacher, यूनिफॉर्म बुक्स, ऐसा कोई स्कूल नहीं है. इट इज जस्ट अ प्रोजेक्ट कॉल्ड अंकथा जिसमें इट इज एन अटेम्प्ट फ्रॉम द एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट टू मेक देम able to write and express themselves so that they are able to communicate better. बस वो, and that is also one thing which the activists like me and others have also been demanding. What is the point in picking up a Jarwa, boy or a girl and trying to explain him who is Pandit Nehru and who is Narendra Modi? They haven't seen Port Blair properly. They perhaps they are not even aware, there are islands beyond Port Blair and South Andaman. They are not aware. Forget about India and forget about the world. So when it comes to education, what are we trying to teach them? Of course, this project, I appreciate this project, but at the same time, I have been requesting, there should be a team of experts from across the world, those who can, really study the Jaravas. No, try to study their knowledge of being an islander. इतना सारा उनके अंदर में खूबी है, उनका चाइल्ड बर्थ कैसा होता है, उनका रिचुअल्स कैसा होता है, उनका मेडिसिनल प्रैक्टिसेस क्या होता है, हाउ डू दे कम्युनिकेट, हाउ डू दे अंडरस्टैंड नेचर. जब सुनामी आया था in 2004, none of the Jarvas were killed और उनको कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. तो ऐसे सुनने में आया कि they knew from the nature had already given them a hint or a signal there is something wrong which is going to happen, and they moved to the higher grounds and they were all safe. This I'm trying to tell you because I'm not an expert. I have been just advocating what I felt strongly from the beginning कि they are humans like you and me. इनके पास में इतना नॉलेज है और हम चले इनको सिखाने. तो हम अपना जो सर में हम बोलते हैं ना हम बहुत नॉलेजेबल है, वी आर एजुकेटेड, वी हैव सीन द वर्ल्ड. तो ये जो हेड वेट है थोड़ा से साइड रख लीजिए एंड थिंक लाइक फेलो ह्यूमंस. और सामने वाला के पास में भी नॉलेज है, शायद आपसे बेटर नॉलेज हो. सो विदाउट इवन ट्राइंग टू स्टडी दैट नॉलेज, अंडरस्टैंड दैट नॉलेज, हम चले उनको सिखाने. सो मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ कि नो, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. एंड यस, वी हैव टू रिस्पेक्ट देम क्योंकि दे आर द फर्स्ट, दे आर द ओरिजिनल इनहैबिटेंट्स ऑफ दिस प्लेस, नॉट अस, नॉट द पीपल हु आर विजिटिंग द आइलैंड्स. तो ये है. एंड फिर मैं वो डिबेट में आता हूँ आइसोलेशन एंड मेन स्ट्रीमिंग का. तो इसमें एक इश्यू ये है कि who are we to decide the fate of the Jarvas? Who are we to decide the fate of the tribes? They have been surviving since thousands of years. It is we who have interfered, encroached into their territory. We have trespassed into their territory. और हम अभी बैठ के ये भी डिसाइड करेंगे उनको आइसोलेट करो या मेन स्ट्रीम करो. मैं तो यही बोल रहा हूँ कि आप फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल स्टॉप थिंकिंग टू इवन मतलब डिक्टेट योर ऑर्डर कि आज चलो इनको मेन स्ट्रीम करना है, चलो इनको आइसोलेट करना है. नो, ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट फ्रॉम देम व्हाट एग्जैक्टली दे वांट. बहुत सारा ऑब्जर्वेशन ये बोलता है कि few of the Jarvas they have already started mingling with the outsiders. होगा, जरूर होगा. जब हमें हमारा इतना बड़ा कम्युनिटी उस लोग का 500 ऑड जारवास को सराउंड करके बैठे हैं, ऑफ कोर्स देयर विल बी इंटरेक्शन, देयर विल बी kind of wrong interactions, which yes, we have exposed a lot of such things which has been happening. एक्शन भी हुआ है लेकिन अभी तक उसका प्रॉपर सोल्यूशन नहीं निकला. सो इस तरह इंटरेक्शंस जब होते हैं, सो इंटरेक्शंस किसके साथ में होता है? पोचर्स के साथ में होता है, जो उनका जो रिजर्व में जाके उनका फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस, उनका एनिमल्स को मारते हैं और लेके अपना बेनिफिट के लिए बेचते हैं, इलीगल काम करते हैं. सो सच आर द पीपल हु come in the front when it comes to opening up the outside world to the Jarvas. किससे इंटरेक्शन होता है? सबसे पहले पोचर्स से होता है, उसके बाद में पुलिस एंड ट्राइबल वेलफेयर एंड इस तरह करके बाद में होता है. द फ्रंट लाइन इज ऑलवेज द पोचर्स और द रॉन्ग डूअर्स. तो किस तरह का इमेज हम दे रहे हैं कि हमारा वर्ल्ड क्या है, बाहर का वर्ल्ड, दुनिया क्या है, कैसा है? तो उनका पोचर्स और गलत जो काम कर रहे हैं उनका नजरिया से देखते हैं. एक बच्चों की तरफ अगर हम सोचे तो बच्चों को गलत इंसान को के सामने में एक्सपोज करें तो उसका नजर में तो सारा दुनिया ही गलत रहेगी. सो दिस हैज बीन हैपनिंग एंड ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज अ स्ट्रिक्ट विजिल, पेट्रोलिंग होता है, सच कल्प्रिट्स आर अरेस्टेड, लेकिन अभी तक कोई कन्विक्शन नहीं हुआ. सरप्राइजिंगली देयर आर सो मेनी सच cases of trespassing, such cases of rape among the rape with the Jarva women, poaching and so many things. इतना सारा केसेस होने के बाद में भी आज तक एक भी केस में कन्विक्शन नहीं हुआ. दैट इज ऑल्सो एन एनकरेजमेंट टू द पोचर्स. आप कुछ भी करते रहो, कोई सेंटेंस मतलब कोई कन्विक्शन होने वाला नहीं. दैट ऑल्सो मीन्स हम कितना सीरियसली लेते हैं when it comes to the aboriginal tribes. जब एक भी कन्विक्शन नहीं हुआ है, 10-10 साल 15-15 साल से केस चल रहा है, एक भी कन्विक्शन नहीं हुआ है. So I am not for mainstreaming, I am not for isolation, I am for understanding the verdict of the Jarvas. कुछ लोग जैसा मैंने बताया मिक्स हो रहे हैं, but there are also other people who prefer to stay inside the reserve, inside the forest. They don't come out and mix with outsiders. तो जो भी डिसीजन हो, द डिसीजन शुड बी दियर्स, नॉट आवर्स. अगर वो मेन स्ट्रीम होना चाहते हैं जिसके लिए और एक 100 साल लगेगा, 200 लगेगा, 500 लगेगा, लगने दो. या उस लोग आइसोलेट होके रहना चाहते हैं, इट इज देयर चॉइस. रिस्पेक्ट देयर डिसीजन first, and before respecting their decision, try to understand their decision. And this decision can only be understood by the tribal welfare department, and you know, and people who are interested to interact with them, study them, because outsiders are not allowed. The law of the land says they are protected under pat regulation, and so we are not allowed to interact with them or exchange anything with them, you know, any kind of food, clothes, or anything. We are not supposed to do that. That is the law of the land. So this is it about Andaman tribes. You know, बस एक ही लास्ट अपील करना चाहता हूँ. प्लीज, इफ यू प्लान टू विजिट अंडमान एनी टाइम, और आपको बोले कि चलिए सर आपको दिखाते हैं, जारवा को दिखाते हैं, तो प्लीज उनको जरूर एक चीज बोल देना इस तरह लोगों को. उनको क्या देखना है, आप ही की तरह है, यू नो, हमारा ही तरह इंसान तो है वो. उनको जाके क्या देखना है, उनका क्यों तमाशा बनाना है. और कोई अगर ये सोचे कि मैं टूरिस्ट हूँ, मैं आपके घर में, आपके घर के बीच से एक रास्ता बना के अपना फुटपाथ बना देता हूँ, और मैं टूरिस्ट को, अपना टूरिस्ट को लेके आपके घर के बीच से मैं जाता हूँ. आप किस स्टेट में हो, आपका किस किस्म का प्राइवेसी है, आप कौन सा जगह में, आपको क्या कर रहे हो, और यू नो, will you have any kind of privacy if I decide to split your house into two and start walking, and it is not only me, but I try to bring thousands and thousands of people to, you know, walk through that route and look at you. Will it not be an insult? Will it not be an invasion in your life? This is what we have already done. It's a mistake which we have done. तो अभी सिर्फ हमारा एक एज रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन्स ऑफ द कंट्री एंड एज रिस्पॉन्सिबल people of the world, we should, you know, try to tell all these people who are trying to promote, you know, tribal tourism in a wrong way. उनको बोलना है कि नहीं भाई, वो हमारा और तुम्हारा जैसे इंसान है, उनको देखने का क्या जाना है. So this will be one step closer to respecting them and one step closer to protecting them.
सर मेरा लास्ट 2 क्वेश्चंस में सेकंड क्लास जो है मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ, ये जो कोविड-19 का जो हमने देखा, जैसे पूरे दुनिया जो पैंडेमिक के दौर से गुजरे, उस टाइम क्या जारवाज या अदर अंडमानीज और निकोबारी ट्राइब्स को क्या वैक्सीनेशन किया गया था?
हाँ, ये थोड़ा से एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लिए it was a tricky situation for the administration, क्योंकि पैंडेमिक ऐसा फैल रहा था, उनको वैक्सीनेट करना भी था, एंड वैक्सीनेशन से उनको कुछ प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं होना था. तो unofficially we could, as you know, media person, we could gather that कुछ सिम्टम्स दिखाई देने लगे थे among the Jarvas of the pandemic. कोरोना का symptoms कुछ दिखाई देने. Even the welfare staff, they were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the administration decided not to, you know, even send their own welfare staff without properly ascertaining that they are not positive. उसके बाद में yes, vaccination भी हुआ है, and अंडमान ट्राइब्स में ऑफ कोर्स सेंटिनलीज का तो नहीं हुआ, बाकी ग्रेट अंडमानीज एंड बाकी सबका वैक्सीनेशन हुआ है. निकोबारीज आर ऑलरेडी इन द मेन स्ट्रीम, So they are all literate, they are educated people. तो उनका भी vaccination हुआ है. And yes, it is an attempt from the administration, government of India.
And the champagnes.
Yes, definitely. वो champagnes का जो है, they are a isolated community, लेकिन efforts ये भी, मतलब एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के साथ में ये भी हुआ है कि उनको भी वैक्सीनेट करें. बट उनको उतना जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा क्योंकि दे आर नॉट मिक्सिंग विद द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड, दे लिव इन द फॉरेस्ट. एंड ऐसा एक जगह है जहां पर कोई जाता नहीं. जारवा का कंसर्न ये है कि जारवा का होम जो है ना, उनके जंगल के बीच से वी हैव कंस्ट्रक्टेड दिस रोड कॉल्ड अंडमान ट्रंक रोड, तो जिसमें thousands of people travel daily. But when it comes to Shompen tribes, they are isolated in the last point of India, which is called the Great Nicobar Island. उसमें से भी एक छोटा सी जगह जंगल के अंदर में they are confined. सो द पैंडेमिक वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए, जब तक हम, मतलब नॉर्मल इंसान तो वहां खुद भी नहीं जाते हैं, तो पैंडेमिक पहुंचना थोड़ा से मुश्किल है.
And this is my last question to you. अभी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया अंडमान को एक नए तरह से डेवलप करना चाहते हैं, तो सेकेंड हांगकांग या सिंगापुर बनाना चाहते हैं अंडमान एंड निकोबार आइलैंड को. जैसे हम सुन रहे हैं कि पोर्ट ब्लेयर टू डिग्लीपुर रेलवे के लाइन बिछाने जा रहे हैं, सारे ब्रिजेस होने जा रहे हैं. इस डेवलपमेंट में के जो ट्राइब्स है, उसका जो कल्चर है, उसका जो फ्लोरा एंड फौना है, उसको कोई डिजास्टर तो नहीं हो जाएगा?
बहुत अच्छा सोच है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. बुद्धिजीवी लोग बैठे हैं तो वो सोचते हैं इनको आइलैंड्स को हांगकांग सिंगापुर बनाए. आई थिंक यू आर रेफरिंग टू द प्रोजेक्ट मेगा सिटी प्रोजेक्ट जो आने वाला है कैंपबेल बे में एंड हड बे में.
yes, definitely. This
Yes, so
was my intention.
so the mega city project, of course, बुद्धिजीवी लोग हैं, इनका सोच है, लेकिन मैं तो थोड़ा सा हैरान था when such a project like हांगकांग और सिंगापुर का तरह मॉडल का बनाए. अरे क्यों ना हम अपना मॉडल क्रिएट करें एंड टेल द वर्ल्ड टू गेट इंस्पायर्ड बाय अस. हम क्यों एक आइलैंड, हमारा धरोहर जो इतना नेचुरल वेल्थ को डिस्ट्रॉय करने के बाद में वी ट्राई टू कॉपी अ मॉडल व्हिच इज लाइंग आउटसाइड. हम ऐसा क्यों ना एक मॉडल इधर में बनाए जिसको पूरा वर्ल्ड अप्रिशिएट करे. ऑफ कोर्स द वर्ल्ड इज अप्रिशिएटिंग. आज के डेट में जो अंडमान निकोबार आइलैंड्स है, द वर्ल्ड इज अप्रिशिएटिंग बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रिस्टीन बीचेस.
फॉर मी, मैं दुनिया बहुत देखी है, लेकिन अंडमान जैसा खूबसूरत कोई नहीं है. मेरे ड्रेस में भी लेके लिखा हुआ है अनटच्ड पैराडाइज.
यस बशुदा, द थिंग इज लाइक अंडमान ऑलरेडी खूबसूरत है. इतना इतना प्रेशियस है, इतना नेचुरल वेल्थ है, इतना एंडेमिक स्पीशीज है यहाँ पर, इसका फ्रेजाइल इकोलॉजी. एंड ऑफ कोर्स लाइक बिफोर all these development which comes to your brain, we should also think 10 times, because the islands also fall in zone 5. It falls under seismic zone 5, which is more very prone to earthquakes and natural disasters. The greatest example was the tsunami of 2004, where thousands of people were killed. So many villages were washed out. लेकिन ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी है ना, वो तो बीत गया, अब उसके बारे में सोच के क्यों बैठे रहे. सो एक बार गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से मेरा फिर से रिक्वेस्ट रहेगा, सर आप, प्राइम मिनिस्टर से भी एक रिक्वेस्ट रहेगा, सर आप सोचिए, सर आप लोगों का भलाई सोचिए सर. लेकिन ऐसा डेवलपमेंट के नाम पर ऐसा कुछ ना कर दिया जाए जो which might turn out to be a big disaster for the environment, ecology and tribes and the people of these islands. So that is the only message, that is the only humble appeal which I can, use your medium to do.
थैंक यू सर, आप हमारे शो पे आए, हमें इतना वक्त दिया, अपना विचार साझा किया, और आज जिस बारे में हमने बात किया, शायद हमारे यहाँ मेनलैंड में इस बारे में कोई डिस्कशन होती ही नहीं है। वो सिर्फ अंडमान जाते हैं क्या अंडमान घूमने जाऊं, एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत हनीमून डेस्टिनेशन है, टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन है, और जाऊं तो जारवा देखूं, उसको दिल से कोई समझने की कोशिश नहीं करते। हमें करना चाहिए जारवा को और अदर ट्राइब्स को दिल से समझे, वो भी हम जैसे ह्यूमन बीइंग है, उसका भी रेस्पेक्ट है, उसका भी दुनिया में हमें जितना हक है उन लोगों को भी उतना ही हक है, हमें उसके हक का स्वीकार करना चाहिए। फिर भी सर आपको बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, फिर कभी अगर इस ट्राइबल टॉपिक्स में डिस्कशन हो हम आपको फिर से बुलाएंगे, आप हमारे शो में आए, इसके लिए आपको बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। नमस्कार सर।
थैंक यू, नमस्कार।
And please subscribe, share and like our channel. Thank you.